What up, dudes? Samthedingus here just for a little talk video, because I'm not opposed to such things. I like to diversify my videos and just share all of my ideas, because to me, YouTube's about expression, showing what I think, the things I do, what I love. So, just gonna spit off the dome here, um, just develop thoughts as I go, sort of. I had this thought lately. I was thinking, about different ways the world could be, you know. And I was thinking, what if it really was the human race? And there was no countries, no borders. I don't want to say no laws specifically, but it's a borderline, that area. Um, just the whole concept of one united world. One, do I think it's a good idea? And do I think it's practical? What do I think kind of things would come as a result of that? Well, for one, that's how it used to be before governing, rule, power, things like that came to be. Um, sure enough, though, these things do happen for a reason. Well, it's something that I definitely want to see in action. If I could run like a simulated world, assuming we're not already in one, I would definitely check that out. If humans just existed as we do, there wasn't such a defined society per se. And well, because society changes based on where you are. The very nature of life itself differs from place to place. And so, would it be a good thing to eliminate culture, so to speak? We all, everyone, every region, language, ethnicity has their own background story, lore, if you will. Uh, but in some ways, that does divide us a little. Not to say we can't be different together, but people tend to want to stick to their way of life. And so to come together as a whole would sort of devalue all of the upbringings that lots of people have, and yet it could be valuable for the whole as well. Like White Lion made that song, When the Children Cry, One United World Under God. Not like super God believer. Well, not at least in the sense that you might think when you think of the word God. Brothers under the sun. That's a good way to see it. But not everybody sees that way. Question is, if we like set these things in motion for a few generations ahead, would it be possible for people to learn to live under the same rules, if any rules? If people could coexist truly? Now, is it practical? In some sense, I would say no. It's not practical to be united. And it's hard to even kind of describe what I mean when I say that, because, well, there's such geographic differences that it almost doesn't make sense for us all to live exactly the same way. Uh, you know? It's almost like grand socialism. Some places are quite impoverished. Some places are, quite wealthy. Where is all the wealth going? Where is it coming from? Who's holding on to it? These are good questions. I don't think socialism is practical for running a country, per se. But if the whole world was united in one front, and that's for the equal living of all mankind, it would devalue money, in a sense. And while that sounds like a bad thing, it's also a neutral thing. If we don't have to worry about things like working to get money, to feed your family, to support the child that's on the way that you're not ready for, uh, well then, humans could dedicate their lives to amazing things. We could, almost like a Renaissance period type deal, focus on art, music, creation, work as a species to do amazing things. I think the only realistic way that a united world front would come to be is in the case of an alien invasion. Even then, unlikely. But it's an interesting thought nonetheless. If aliens came to Earth to eradicate the species and claim this land as their own, would we be able to? Would we fight as individuals together, or would we unite as one? And I think the best way to progress humanity, to take us to the stars and the deep oceans and consciousness as a whole even, would be to be a collective, to not indoctrinate beliefs upon our young, but to let the world be discovered and make it a joyous place. Not that we could eliminate death, suffering, and struggle, but a radical mindset change. You know, we give power to specific people so that they can, control us. And we're placing our trust in these people to control us effectively and fairly. But really, we have no idea what's going on behind the scenes. We don't know what kind of power gambles and dirty tricks are going on. In some ways, it would be cool symbolically to destroy the White House or, crumble the Soviet Union. Actually, it's already disbanded, I think, but you get the idea. But it does go back to that one thing. It's hard to control a large amount of space. It's hard to control people on a mass level because there's so many people. And that's also sort of the point. Is it the place of humans to rule other humans? Hard to say. Is there a need for order? Or is chaos the natural state of things? So, should this devolve into anarchy? That's the next progression. Well, in some ways, that would make sense. If only... Okay. We have rules because people will take what they want and do what they want. And we've decided people shouldn't be able to do whatever they want. People can hurt other people. But why do people hurt other people? Because they want something, or they need something, or they needed something once and it was taken from them, or they're lacking in something. And if everyone was given equal proportions of things, not physical things per se, but would that get rid of the instinct to do crime, as we call it? Actions are actions, and we simply label it as certain things, and we've decided that you can be punished for certain things. Would there always be a natural instinct in a killer to kill remorselessly, just out of curiosity? Is a united world like the Giver? Is it blinding us to the reality of the world, that there is such a thing as death, chaos, destruction, greed, gluttony? Possibly. I think it would be cool to find out, to be honest. If this coronavirus here brings us the apocalypse, maybe we'll get a chance to see, because in that case it'll simply be survival. Can we not die? Whereas if this united world concept were to be, it would be thrival. Can we bring humanity to the next level? Can we ascend to the gods? Can we make a beautiful place where we can all share the loot? I just thought of this idea recently, and it stuck with me a little bit. It doesn't seem likely to me that we will all come to our senses or decide that teaming up is the best option. That this rat race, the power struggle, is bullshit, and also hindering humanity as a whole, as a species. We've come this far by way of evolution, assuming such things happened and we weren't dropped from the sky as superior beings. We went through the game of life as mammals. We decided intellect was the most important thing, and it's brought us to amazing things. Comparing even ancient Sumerians to other animals, it's a drastic difference in ability. Now we've got fingers, thumbs, and incredible minds. We literally create digital screens. I'm able to capture what's happening in my room right now. And you can see what's happening in my room right now. I think that's amazing. And with less boundaries, it could only get better. With humans as a collective working for the greater good, things could simply become amazing, more so than they even are. And just because we're born into this world, we're kind of blinded to how amazing it is to start with. There is always going to be a conflict of interest. People will want different things, value different things. So I don't expect that the world could ever completely agree. But maybe we could come together and do something amazing with this life we have. Not so much a wake up and do my chores type of feeling. Loving the life that we are born into, instead of choosing a life that we love. Though, cannot understate the value of that in itself. Alright, ramble complete. Thanks for tuning in. If you did, let me know what you think in the comments, Peace out, and much love.